From start to finish, Oshi No Ko had some very great moments sprinkled throughout the series, and I don't think that could be denied. Now with the series finally coming to an end, I figured now would probably be the perfect time to start ranking some of the best moments. At least this will be based on my opinion, so I look forward to seeing everyone else's list in the comments. But yeah, I'm gonna get started at number 10, where I'll have to go with Ruby talking to her father for the first time. That moment was definitely hype for me, because I always wanted to see Aka and Ruby meet their father and talk with them. So actually seeing it happen was insane. It's also like the only time we see Ruby and Hikaru talking the whole series too, which is kinda sad, but also adds significance to this moment in my opinion. My only disappointment with this and why it's so low is due to Ruby not seeming to actually recognize their father. It feels like a missed opportunity there since this was like their only meet-in, and I was so close to putting another moment here too. Choosing this spot was probably the hardest part of doing this, to be honest. But moving on to number 9, I'm gonna have to put the Akane vs Kana fight during the Tokyo Blade arc. This has to be the biggest rivalry in the series, and seeing them actually go head to head on stage and giving it their all was so peak. I don't think there's any other moment in the series where we see these two acting at such a high level with this much intensity. Especially for Akane, since she doesn't actually have another moment acting all out like this. In Kana's case, this was the moment we got to see the potential she had hidden for so long, and I really would have liked it if we got to see more of her like this. We only see glimpses of it later on, but nothing to the level of these performances. This is definitely one of the peaks of the series, but for me, it's only number 9 on my list. Number 8 might surprise y'all, but I'm gonna go with the moment Ruby confronted Aqua after he made the truth about Ruby and him public to the entire world. I honestly have to say that I like the fallout even more than the reveal, because this is where we see the relationship between Aqua and Ruby get shattered. This might sound horrible, but I wanted to see some actual conflict between the siblings. They've been really close the entire series, so it was very entertaining seeing them like this. Both of them were consumed by revenge by this point, which made it more interesting how their paths would differ. Some people might hate it, but I think it added a nice change of pace to the story. It also impacted a significant portion of the story going forward too. Now at number 7, I have the moment where Akane told Aqua she'd help kill the person he wanted revenge on. This one being so high might be a bit biased because I'm an Akane fan, but it's actually this very moment that solidified her as one of my favorite characters in the series. It's also like the first moment we see Aqua sort of reveal his true goals to someone, and seeing Akane actually support him after everything she's been through was hype the first time I read it. I thought it'd be cool seeing them work together to catch the father. Even though that didn't happen, it's cool to see how relevant Akane has been to the revenge plot and story in general since this moment. From that moment till the end, Akane was perhaps the only one who understood Aqua's true feelings. I don't want to annoy the Kana fans too much with the Akane glaze though, so I'm gonna move on to number 6 now. Over here I have the moment Aqua comes face to face with Hikaru for the first time. This is one of the moments the series had been building up from the start. The fact that it was during the very same interview we saw in the flash forward in chapter 10 made this moment that much better for me. To think this whole time we had already seen Aqua talking to his father is actually unreal to me. Although the other interviews weren't actually that important in the long run, the foreshadowing from the start is still great. Of course, seeing Hikaru being the one casually interviewing Aqua without really being concerned made him seem so much more cooler as an antagonist than he was at the end. It's really hard for me to think of a better way for them to have met, so that's why it's here. However, now we're entering top 5 territory, and I think this one will also be quite surprising. At number 5, I have the moment Akane is pushed off the stairs. I feel like a lot of it might be due to shock value, but Akane seeming like she was gonna die is probably one of the craziest moments in the series. Akane has so many death flags surrounding her that I genuinely thought she was gonna be dead in the next chapter. I almost guarantee this moment is gonna be a cliffhanger in season 3, and the reactions are gonna be so great. I don't know if I can count this, but Aqua also awakening his double black Staringan after leaving Akane was also really hype. Aqua really did seem like he was committed to revenge for sure this time. But yeah, onto number 4 now, where I have Dark Ruby's awakening. I was generally contemplating to put this moment higher, because it being only number 4 feels so low compared to how amazing this scene was. Up until this point, I feel like we were all waiting to see how Ruby would evolve as a character after being sidelined for a majority of the series. She was always the happy-go-lucky sister, to contrast the dark gloomy nature of her revenge-driven brother. Yet, once Aqua stepped into the light, the only way to restore the balance was to push the elder sibling to darkness, and that's exactly what happened. The build-up with Ruby learning about Goro's death and then getting information from the fraud girl perfectly built up the moment Ruby awakened her own double black Staringan. The moment the cheerful girl became consumed by revenge. It's so good that I was really tempted to move it into the top 3. It's probably interchangeable to be honest, and my number 3 might also be a hot take. That's because it's the moment we learn what the 15-year lie really was. The fact that the movie itself was actually a timeless love letter from Ai to Hikaru is actually the most tragic but also amazing reveal to me. This whole time, her words saying that she didn't love Hikaru was a lie. That lie probably changed their entire future for so many characters, especially Hikaru, who looked completely broken. To Ai, Hikaru was actually the first person she loved, and she requested her children to help him in the future, showing how much she cared. I don't know why, but I think seeing Aqua's own tears is what made it hit the most to me. Probably the fact that even Aqua himself is crying made it seem much more impactful. How this entire tragedy was caused by a misunderstanding. In the end, this is how Aqua achieved revenge, at least for Ruby. It really did seem like he had broken Hikaru here. I also feel like the scene is also helped a lot by the moment I have at number 2, which is of course Ai's death. This is probably the most iconic moment of the series for those who've seen it, and for good reason too. I don't think it needs a lot of explaining because I think a majority of people who read or watched the series got into it because of this moment. Probably one of the saddest deaths in anime and manga. It might not be one of the best moments in a good way, but it is definitely one of those unforgettable moments. Her death really set the tone for the entire series, and even though I would have liked Ai to come back in some form at the end, I'm also glad she didn't in a way, since that could have taken away from the tragedy of this moment. Of course, since it is only at number 2, that means I have another moment I think that surpasses even that. For that though, I just have to give some honorable mentions to some other moments that could have made the list, like Hikaru killing Yura, cause it was hyped to see Hikaru actually killing someone, and it made him seem like a dangerous antagonist. I was really debating putting this at number 10, not gonna lie. Some other moments I have are Aqua kissing Akane for real in the private arc, Aqua's death, Nino stabbing Ruby. That one I dropped though, cause it felt like a cheap band switch. The shock value was good though. I'm also gonna say the Aqua and Ruby kiss too, just cause the reactions were hilarious. It's an iconic moment even though most people probably hate it. With that said, onto my personal best moment in Oshi No Ko. This probably won't be too surprising, but at number 1, I have the moment Aqua and Ruby learned the truth about each other's past lives. From the start of the series, I was looking forward to this moment. How would Aqua react when he learned Ruby was Serena, and how would Ruby react to Aqua being Goro? Those are the type of moments you read an entire series to see. The build-up was actually immaculate. Obviously it began from the moment they were reborn as twins, but more specifically around the time Ruby was breaking down from her role as Ai, and feelings on her mother. Even the relationship Ruby had with Aqua was broken to the point she seemed to hate him. Yet on the brink of destruction, the one to come save her was not Aqua, but Goro. I think anyone who read up to this point knows how impactful this moment was, so I don't think I have to explain it more than that. It was just perfectly crafted, and the best moment of Oshi No Ko to me. That's gonna be it though. It was actually way harder to do a list like this than I thought. There were so many good moments and I found myself having to change the lineup quite a few times, especially when I remembered some scenes I forgot. Hopefully I didn't forget any other ones, but it was pretty fun making this list too, so I might make one for arcs. I do characters too, but I feel like you all can probably guess who my favorite is. As for this list, tell me your thoughts about it. Actually, speaking of which, I know y'all probably have your own list, maybe with some moments I didn't even mention here. So let me know in the comments what you think some of the best moments were, and as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. I got some more Oshi No Ko content here too that you can check out. Peace.